After over 1100 hours of Valheim, I have developed a ton of bad habits, and I bet you're probably doing the same, like what I'm doing with this chest right here. Today, I'll explain that and analyze 15 other awful Valheim habits you've probably developed and showcase how you too can break them, with a word from War Thunder a little later. First, something that I often find myself doing is building my bases on lumpy, uneven terrain that both makes my life harder, but also leads to all kinds of ugly interactions of dirt rendering through floors or walls. To start any build, the absolute first thing you should be doing is leveling and clearing a large plot of land with your pickaxe and hoe. Alternatively, you can use wooden or stronger material poles like core or iron to create a frame for the foundation of your build. By doing this, you guarantee a flat and even starting point for your floors, completely taking the terrain formation out of the equation. Next might just be a me thing, but up until literally a week ago, this was how I finished almost all of my roofs, leaving gaps at either end. For some reason, I never realized how effective corner roof pieces were in completing a roof. Now, I know it's far from perfect. Feel free to laugh at me, but surely there's at least one other person out there making the same mistake as me. Once your build is complete, one of the best ways to protect it from raids is to create raised earth walls. However, you absolutely need to break the habit of raising them in non-cardinal directions. For clarity, those are north, south, east, and west, which you can use your yellow player icon on the minimap to easily orient yourself in one of the four directions. By raising earth facing in any of them, you get a nice clean looking wall compared to the ugly clump of earth if deviating from them. Similarly, if trenches are more your thing, you should also dig while facing these ways for cleanest results. This is a new one, but now you'll need to keep yourself from leaving home without your favorite trinket with the new Call to Arms update. These items are powerful equipables that once their adrenaline threshold is reached will give huge buffs to the player. Whether you're using the Crystal Heart to gain resistance to physical damage at the opportune time, or looking for a boost to your speed with the Nimble Anklet, there's absolutely no reason to leave home without one of these equipped, and it would be an incredibly bad habit to do so. Another common sin that players often commit is taking far too many things with them on adventures. Inventory space comes at a premium and has only become a bigger source of player pain, with each of the past new updates adding new items to carry. I do think the devs will take action to address this issue, but for now, we can take some accountability on ourselves to ease the pain. Before leaving on an adventure, ask yourself what you really need. Do you truly need to take your hoe and cultivator into an infested mine? Are 3 different types of arrows absolutely necessary? I know the Mistlens weapons are cool, but don't you think 5 is taking things too far? I, for one, am guilty for often carrying materials to craft a portal, boat, and a collection of meads with me at all times, and perhaps if I took the time to critically think about the task at hand, I'd be better off. Building a beautiful home requires a ton of wood, and if you're an uncivilized caveman like me, there is a good chance you've left a wasteland of stumps around your base following a big project. The effects of this bad habit are twofold. For one, it just looks terrible, but it's also going to negatively impact the performance of your game. Every instance or object near you takes up the game's compute power, which might lower your frames per second, making the game feel choppy and laggy. If you're curious, hit F2 on your keyboard to display your instances in the top left. After chopping trees, use your axe's secondary attack to destroy leftover stumps. It both gives you extra wood and will improve the aesthetic and performance of your game. Better yet, replant your trees both for decoration and to replenish your wood stores for the inevitable next project. But do not store them in chests. Another bad habit we'll address shortly. But you know what's not a bad habit? Playing War Thunder, the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made, now more accessible than ever, available for free on PC, consoles, and mobile devices. Take command of over 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships, representing 10 major nations throughout history, ranging from biplanes and armored cars of the 1920s to modern fighter jets and tanks. War Thunder offers a comprehensive customization system with countless camouflages, historical markings, and my personal favorite, community-created ones for ultimate creative expression. You'll always feel completely immersed in the fight too, with its unmatched detail, realistic graphics, and authentic sound effects, placing you right at the helm of the most powerful war machines of our time. But don't let the impressive visuals scare you. War Thunder uses its in-game engine to deliver a lag-free experience even on lower-end machines. It truly is unmatched for its wealth of high-quality content, and there's no better time to try with massive rewards available. Join a worldwide community of now over 95 million players worldwide in epic PvP battles, and delve into the breathtaking experience that is War Thunder. Play War Thunder for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or mobile devices now by using my links in the video description or pinned comment. A massive bonus pack is available for new and returning players that haven't played for at least 6 months for PC and consoles that sign up using my link. Inside, you will get multiple premium vehicles, an exclusive vehicle decorator, Eagle of Valor, not to mention 100,000 Silver Lions, and 7 days of a premium account, but it's only available for a limited time, so act fast to earn your rewards. Thank you to War Thunder for sponsoring today's video. Speaking of performance, something you absolutely do not want to do is house your tame creatures near your base where you'll spend most of your time. I mentioned instances before, while creatures contribute even more than stationary objects and therefore have an even greater negative impact on game performance. Rather than keep them near your home, I suggest another dedicated location accessible by portal. While this does make it harder to tame creatures, considering players must be nearby for the taming process to progress, a mead was added in the Bogwitch update to assist. After having a few pints of the brew of Animal Whispers, creatures will tame twice as fast. Unfortunately, bad habits are not limited to building and spending time around your base. Another one is leaving your home without your rested buff. This is the cardinal sin of Valheim and is something you should never do, and doing so will only cause you pain. With this buff, you will have increased healing, stamina regeneration, and item regeneration, and perhaps most importantly, a hidden buff to your experience gain. Make sure you add comfort increasing furniture around your base to increase the length of this buff, and remember, you can get a quick 8-minute rested buff in a pinch by sitting down at a fire, assuming it's not raining and enemies are not nearby. Another mistake I often make is leaving my boat exposed on the coast following a sail. Normally this is not an issue, but on occasion can attract the attention of nearby creatures, with neck seeming to be one of the nastiest culprits. If your boat breaks, the materials used to craft it, especially the nails, can sink, and if the water is deep, be completely unretrievable. However, you can both build a diving board to dive down to them, or use your hoe to raise the earth below them. Time is often of the essence though, because as if a base structure is not placed nearby, the sunken loot will despawn after an hour. Of course, you can prevent all these shenanigans by destroying your boat after docking. By hopping on the ship and hacking it to pieces while facing the mast, you will immediately reclaim the materials and can then store them in a nearby chest for safekeeping. When ready to sail again, grab the material, rebuild your boat, and be on your way. This can be handy to avoid sailing around long islands, permitting a quick portage. Another bad habit is building massive portal hubs, which are a terrible waste of resources in my opinion. As an alternative, I choose to leave a nameless portal at my base and take the materials for a second portal with me on my adventures. When ready to return home, I place the portal and will immediately reconnect to the nameless in my base. Should I ever come across a location I'll want to return to frequently, like Haldor is one example, I'll bring materials for a new one through my nameless portal, name it Haldor, pick up the nameless, and continue on. Going forward, I can continue to use my nameless portal for adventuring and can simply rename my home portal Haldor for a quick trip to the vendor. This way, you save all kinds of resources and space at home. Doubling down on resistances is another one I still see players doing and once did myself, and it's something all players need to stop. The most common example of this I see is players entering the swamp both using the poison resistance mead but also the root mask. For those that don't know, the mask provides resistance to poison, reducing damage by 25%, while the mead provides 50% resistance. Resistance and weakness don't stack in Valheim, but rather take the better of the two, and in this case gives 50% resistance, completely ignoring the mask. With the poison mead active, the root mask offers nothing more than being a worse version of the higher armor providing iron helmet. This concept works great in the plains and mistlands too, where you're more than likely rocking the root harness or feather cape that both make you weak to fire. As long as you have barley wine, it will take priority, completely cancelling out the weakness of the other gear. Another common strategy I see players using all the time is having a spare gear at home for a corpse run in the event of a death. That's a complete waste of time. While dying in Valheim loses your skill levels, the game does give you a buffer of 10 minutes following any death of skill loss protection to prevent further punishment. And the game now gives you a countdown timer, by the way, new in the recent Call to Arms update. For this reason, I always return to my tombstone as fast as I can, completely consequence-free, to take advantage of the skill loss protection. At that point, you've got nothing to lose. Plus, if you equip new gear, you might end up with inventory capacity issues trying to reclaim your goods. All of these habits have been bad so far, but easily my worst is speedrunning the game. If you've followed my channel for any length of time, you can probably tell I like finding the optimal and fastest way to do things in Valheim and most games in general. This, though, I've learned can take a lot of fun out of the game and almost makes it feel like a job. Instead, take your time. Don't speed through the meadows to get to the Black Forest. Stop, enjoy the scenery, build a nice cozy home, explore a little bit. If you struggle with that like I do, something that helped me was actually turning the resource drop rate down. I know, shocking, but this forced me to spend more time in a biome before moving on and helped combat my instinct to speed through the game. Next, you absolutely need to break the terrible habit of farming without first increasing your farming skill, which can be done in two very powerful ways. A higher farming skill will increase the radius of your scythe, allowing you to harvest more quickly, decrease the stamina used with your cultivator, and most importantly, will give you an increased chance of bonus yield from your crops. The higher your skill, the greater the chance, topping out at 25% more likely at max skill level. By equipping the full Harvester armor set purchased from Hildir, you increase the skill by 25, and since the recent Call to Arms update, you can get another plus 25 by triggering Yaglu's Forsaken Power. By combining both of these together, you'll be farming with a 50-point higher skill, yielding way more crops. Going forward, you should never harvest without this combo. Another terrible habit many Vikings fall victim to is to either chop trees or metal nodes from lower ground, where both axes and pickaxes will do less damage. For instance, you can see the difference in damage numbers from my axes above and below this tree, or from above or below this copper node. For max efficiency, always climb on top of the metal you are mining, or take the high ground when tree chopping. And with your loot gathered, most would take all that stone and wood and store them in chests, which is a mistake you ought to correct. Unlike most resources, stone, other heavy rocks, and the various wood types can be crafted and placed in 50-piece stacks. While chests certainly do have much higher capacity than 50, these I find to be much more accessible and save room in your chests for other more important goodies. Other materials like coins can also be placed in stacks and should be considered to save on chest storage and can strategically be used as a decoration. Need some quick wood or stone? Whip out your hammer and break the stack for easy access. Thanks again to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to play it for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or mobile by using my links in the pinned comment or video description. New and returning players that haven't played in 6 months will receive a massive bonus pack across PC and consoles, including premium vehicles and goodies, but is available for a limited time, so act fast. And for more Valheim habits you need to break, here are 15 other things you should stop doing in Valheim.